and for partnering with ISMPP. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fiona, for a deep insight on ISMPP. This will surely be of interest and benefit for the attendees on how to get involved with ISMPP activities and how to get benefited from. So now officially beginning for the webinar, I would like to invite our speaker, come moderator, Dikran Toroser, to join us. And before I put the deck to Dikran, I would like to introduce shortly about Dikran Toroser. He was educated in UK and obtained a Ph.D. in biochemistry from Newcastle upon Tyne, UK. He did his postdoc from Cambridge lab on genetics and then moved to US to work as a scientist for the USDA. He works in big pharma, most recently as a publication group lead. Dikran has an extensive background in publication planning as well as medical writing. He is an active member for ACSE, AMWA, and ISMPP, and is an author of GPP 2022. Dikran is currently serving the Asian Council of Science Editor as director, and he's also working as senior director of publication management at Merck USA. Over to you, Dikran.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I know that we have a truly global audience, and it's really exciting to be part of this. So I'd like to thank the ACSE and ISMPP in particular, and also our speakers for the opportunity to present this short segment. So this segment is on the GPP history. So there is an illustrious history behind GPP. It was first published in 2003 as GPP. It had a relatively narrow base, 3 authors, and it was a relatively smaller affair as compared to the other GPPs that followed. So as you see from that table there, there's a frequency, a cadence of about 6 or 7 years for the appearance of each successive GPP publication. So from the original GPP1, just called GPP, GPP2 followed around about 2009 at the BMJ. So as these GPP publications were put together, what we saw was a trend where the GPP manuscript was plugged into the community a lot more, where the collection of ideas, the collection of processes pretty much came from the community. GPP3 was an even bigger affair, and as you see there, from the original CMRO to the final target journal, Annals, there was a jump in the impact factor of the journal as well, and the audience increased accordingly. So what I have there on the bottom right is iTunes. iTunes was also launched around about when GPP, the original GPP, was actually published. Just to give you a timeline of when things started to appear. And I know a lot of people who weren't actually born during the launch of GPP or iTunes. Next slide, please. All right, the messages around the GPP publication. So as I said, initially it was initiated around about 1998. And as you heard from Fiona, just a little bit before ISMPP. ISMPP has become the sponsor of the actual publication and actually does a lot of work to facilitate the publication itself. The first guideline describing the standards of company-sponsored publications had a number of themes very relevant to the environment at that time. Publication bias was a theme, how to not have publication bias. relationships between industry and academia. And that was a theme. And that's a complex process where academia and industry work together, and the credibility bump that occurs when external key opinion leaders are included in the publication process. That was a theme in the original Liz Wager et al. Paper. GPP2, which followed on, had themes of publication planning. So publication planning, as done in industry, is quite a complex process, and a lot of best practices are around it to make sure it's done in an ethical and smooth manner. And also publication types were in the original GPP2. Publication types, again, they were also in the GPPs that followed, but as we've followed the trend from GPP to GPP 2002, the publication types have increased. In the transition from GPP2 to GPP3 to GPP 2022, we find that the publication types now are, well, they are incredible. We have enhanced content, videos, audios, podcasts, and a bunch of other items that are available that were not available in the earlier publication landscape. So just to talk about GPP 2022, the consultation process for this particular manuscript, which is a landmark, as were all the GPPs, was extensive. The feedback from the community was quite extensive. The community was truly global. We had community members in the Asia Pacific regions that also gave feedback, in Europe, in the Americas, from all the world actually. And it addresses the latest pub trends during what has been quite a turbulent period. A lot of GPP 2022 was written during the COVID era, if you like. And a lot of changes have happened principally because of that. A lot of the enhanced content that has gone out from companies and other places. So that's a nutshell history of the GPP manuscript. And what I'd like to do now is touch base with Sam Matthew, my colleague, who is an industry expert, and he will be able to give us a rundown of how GPP is used in industry and what impact it might have. Sam,